You're welcome. Welcome everyone. My name is Jacquelyn Ekwueme and I am excited to be here. I can see my notes. I'm wondering how that came up. Oh, thank you. Okay, so happy to be here speaking with media professionals. I'm more in the tech space, but I want to believe that at some point there are lots of areas where the things we do intersect. And since we're talking about innovation, we're talking about disruption, this happens a lot in our industry. And I'm sure there's so much we can talk about, that would interest you as a media practitioner. So welcome to my presentation, talking about embracing innovation and disruption for a dynamic digital transformation. It's quite a mouthful. Please, next slide. Oh, do I have the clicker? Okay, good. So I broke it down into 3 areas to make it more manageable to speak through. So first of all, I'll talk about innovation, then I'll talk about disruption, and then try to tie it together to see how these two brings about digital transformation. And all I'm going to be talking about will be focusing around the media industry. Next slide, please. So really, what is innovation? This is a simplistic definition of innovation. I try to make it as simple as possible. Innovation is the ability to solve a problem for a customer in new ways that have not been explored. And I also try to highlight, the key words there. So you can't say something is an innovation if it's not solving a problem. So there has to be a problem, right, that needs to be addressed with the innovation you're bringing in. And of course, who are you solving for? The customer. You can't just bring something and say, oh, this is new, it's an innovation, and nobody is using it, nobody wants it. So there has to be a customer, someone who is going to be using that innovation you have made. And of course, it has to be new. It has to be something that hasn't been done before. And that's the exploratory parts, shows that, there has to be a bit of creativity put into the innovation that is being shared. So next slide, please. And I'll just talk through a few innovations that we've had in the media industry. And first one, social media. A lot of people here are aware of social media. And why am I sharing this? I'm sharing all of this because as media practitioners, these are the innovations in your industry. And if you are not participating in this, then I think you're being left behind. So if you're here, you're a media practitioner, you're not on social media, there's so many platforms out there when it comes to social media, then I think you need to get to it right away. So social media is really important. It's a platform that has given so many people a voice, to share their ideas and their thoughts. Then we have streaming services. Streaming services comes with making content available to people on demand. So it's when I need the content that I get it. You have things like Netflix, Hulu, the content is already available. So everybody just goes and they pick and choose what they want in streaming services. And that's why you notice that people are having things like YouTube channels, where they have all their content available and people can go pick what they want to watch whenever they want. Then we have podcasts. Podcasts have revolutionized the, radio industry. I had my favorite radio stations that I loved listening to, but I don't think I've tuned in the last 3 years to any of them, due to podcasts now. So what I do is I just go to my favorite podcast and I listen to what I want to listen to. I'm not obliged to, listening to your adverts on radio anymore because of that innovation of podcasting and making it available for people. And then the next one after podcasts is, please can you go to the next one? I think it's smartphones. What's controlling? Okay, cool. So smartphones, yeah. Smartphones is also an innovation. Now, why is it an innovation? With smartphones, I don't need to be sitting in front of my TV. I don't need to be at home, watching TV to get my news, or I don't need to go to my vendor to buy my favorite newspaper and all of that. So with the smartphone, I can get all the information I need on my device. So what I'm doing is I'm either subscribing to maybe the app of my favorite media station or channel, or I'm going to their website to view. Everything is available on that device. So that is an innovation that has impacted the media industry. And then I have digital cameras there. Why is that important? We say what a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? So people are now experts by virtue of the fact that, maybe they're using the latest iPhone and they know how to take good pictures. So they stumble on something that is happening in a particular location, they take a picture and they post it, and boom, they become popular content creators. So we have digital cameras. And then the last one, I would say this is more like a process innovation that is happening right now in the media space. So with subscription models, you have people subscribing to the kind of content they want. Someone can subscribe to a topic, or, a particular personality that posts things, so that whenever they get new information on that topic or from that person, that information is immediately made available to them. So these are recent innovations that we have had in the media industry. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, now let's talk about disruptions. Disruptions, these are changes that occur when events or new technologies and business models affect the traditional way of doing things. The traditional way of doing things, who can relate to that? This is the way we've always done it. But then you've always done things one way, disruptions happen and you can't change it, right? So these are some key disruptions that have happened in the media industry, and a lot of it, the evolution of technology has been a driving factor for these disruptions. And I just try to, I would say, list them out in the order in which they have happened. So all these disruptions we've experienced in the media industry actually started with personal computers, right? So when everyone began to own a computer, people started learning how to use applications on computer. People were learning how to use Microsoft word processors, publishing and all. Then we still had the professionals, still gatekeeping in the media industry. Why? Because yes, they were able to create the content, control how the content is created, when and where it is published, and all of that. And then after the personal computers, came the internet. With the internet, the barrier to access was removed, meaning that with the internet, you could access information from any location at any time. You no longer were restricted to the fact that, I'm in Lagos and I'm watching NTA at 7 p.m. to get the news, or, I could go online and watch what CNN is showing to know what's happening in America. I don't need my cable TV, and all of that. And then came social media. And social media came with a very, very big disruption, right? Because what happened was the gates were thrown open. So we no longer had the professionals in charge of the media. Everyone has become a content creator. Everyone is putting their voice out there. Everyone has a platform with social media. And what that did is that it leveled the entire playing field. And so with social media, you have lots of people, no known training, no known background. I think I was listening to Professor Osho's message where he was, talking about the principles that they learned, mass common journalism. There's so many people out there that really don't even know about that and they don't care. They have millions of followers on social media. They are creating their content. They have a name out there and, getting all the benefits and fame that comes with it. So that was the disruption that happened in the media industry. And right now, we're in the middle of another disruption. And I don't know if anyone is aware of it, but this is it, artificial intelligence. So you've been hearing fake news, fake pictures, fake audio, fake everything. That's what's happening with artificial intelligence. Now, it's even gone beyond the people. It's no longer the people that are creating this content, right? Now it's the technology that is generating this content. Yeah. So you can imagine they've done years and decades of research in technology. We have large language models that have been created, and all you just need to do is give them a few prompts and they will generate the kind of images you want. They will generate the kind of audio you want. They will generate the kind of content you want, whether it's a story, a novel, a magazine, a movie, whatever it is you want, the technology is generating it for you. That's where we are right now. And this is another big disruption that we are going to experience very soon, or rather, we're already experiencing it. I wouldn't say we'll experience very soon, but I guess if we are observant, we'll start to see, the impact of artificial intelligence in the media industry. And beyond the evolution of technology, there are also events that have happened, that has made us experience these disruptions in the media industry. So I just highlighted two, which are closely related. So we have the COVID-19 pandemic. That was a big disruption in the industry, because what that means is that for everyone who relied on, I would say, physical prints, people that had to do things without relying on technology, they got left behind when the COVID-19 pandemic happened. The people who were able to thrive were those who were already leveraging technology in one form or the other in the way they do things. And of course, with COVID-19 came lots of regulatory policies. There were the policies that came to say, oh, you can't have so many people gathered in a particular place, at a particular time. You can't have people touch newspapers or papers, for fear of transmission of the virus, and all of that. So everybody, was forced in one way or the other to begin to adopt, technology, and that transformed the media industry greatly. So how do you handle disruptions? I have a couple of things I put here to share on how you can handle these disruptions, because at the end of the day, you can't really stop these disruptions from happening. They would happen. The disruptions come, but what helps us is how do we handle it? The first one I would say is embracing change, being open to these new ideas. Because with disruptions, it's a case of, you either evolve, you either change, or you get left behind. Embrace the change, be open to new ideas. The second one, stay informed. Find out what's new in your industry. Find out what the emerging trends are, what the emerging technologies are. Okay, so, this is the most popular platform at the moment. Do I have a presence there? Am I doing something there? Oh, there's TikTok. Does my company have a TikTok account? What are we doing on TikTok? How are we representing ourselves on TikTok? Stay informed about emerging trends and technologies. Foster a culture of innovation in your organization. It has to be something that's happening with the entire organization. You can't just be dependent on one person to be the key innovator in your organization. Everyone needs to come with the different ideas within your organization. Build a diverse team with a range of skills and perspective. You want to be able to reach more people, because as the disruptions come, it comes with opportunities, for reaching out to more people. And to be able to recognize those opportunities, the diversity in your team would help you identify that. But if you have the same people, you people would just have, like the same patterns of recognizing things. But if you bring in diverse perspectives, it opens up opportunities for you to, see things differently. Another thing I have here is encouraging collaboration and teamwork. I think that in itself is explanatory. The cohesiveness of your team, would help people who, tide the moments of disruptions. Be agile, adaptable to changing circumstances. Invest in research and development. Stay ahead of the curve. Focus on your customer needs and preferences. I put this here because this is what I notice happens a lot these days. Everybody wants their own personalized or customized service. General services are being phased out. So being able to know what exactly a customer needs and personalizing, your service or your content to meet each of your customer is something that would help you. Building strong relationships with your partners and suppliers, that is also helpful. And, not just doing all these things, you need to continually evaluate the way you do things in your organization and make adjustments as needed. So that's it on handling disruptions. So now, tying it all together, digital transformation, right? Innovation, disruption, putting it together would help you transform your business digitally. And this is really using technology to create new value for your customers, employees, shareholders, as the case may be. That's what digital transformation is about. Next slide, please. So this is a blueprint. I think I put like 4 things there to help you if you want to transform your business digitally. So the first one I have here is digitizing your historical content. There's something I've been hearing for years now. I think it's probably old now, but for a couple of years I've been hearing data is going to be the new oil. Data is going to be the new oil. So as much original data as you have, that gives you an edge. So digitize anything you have right now, digitize all the content that you have. And I'm sharing a few of our Microsoft products, that we have out there that can help you with things like that. So we have our Microsoft Azure, which is our public cloud that can help you make your infrastructure available in real time, make it scalable, and all of that. We have OneDrive too. That's like our online public storage. You can use it to store, whether it's files, media, audio content, all of that. I think the OneDrive app also has something, it has on the smartphone where you can use your smartphone camera to scan your paper content, make it digital and all of that. The second thing on the blueprint, explore ways to monetize your content. So you've created your storehouse of content. How do you make money out of it? So we have different things here. We have Power Apps, that helps you create apps. You don't have any app for your business. You can leverage Power Apps to create an app. It's like we call it a citizen developer platform. So you don't need to have knowledge of coding. You don't need to be a software engineer to be able to create an app using Power Apps. Dynamics 365 has so many models here that are really focused on the media industry, the customer insights, marketing, media and entertainment accelerator models. Those things would help you, automate everything that has to do with your media processes, engaging your customers, having a 360 view of your customers. Then the third thing in the blueprint is to create new channels for engagement. So you've made your content digital, You've thought through ways on how to monetize this content, and then you can now think on ways you can deliver this content, new ways to deliver this content to your audience. I put in some platforms that we have, that are popular. So it could be LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of our platforms, you go out there, share your content on LinkedIn, create LinkedIn channels, to make your content available to people. We have our Microsoft 365 platform, things like email marketing. You can do that with Outlook. And then lastly, create new experiences for your customers. You can start creating new things, new personalized experiences for your customers. We have Power BI analytics that would tell you what exactly it is your customer is doing at every point in time. Lots of customers love, getting some form of analytics about, a service that is being provided to them. We also have our open AI service. This has our cognitive services. Cognitive service, goes beyond translations. It has things like language translations where you can, convert content that is spoken in one language to another language, and all of that. So our cognitive services does that. We have our bot services, which is like a 24/7 customer service desk. We have GPT-4. We also have a partnership with ChatGPT, which is like the popular AI generative chat service we have right now. And then, of course, we have Microsoft Teams, which is very popular for collaboration. So I think it's time for questions. If anybody has anything, please let me know. Thank you.
Okay, questions? All right, Mr. Lekman.
So, well, this is not particularly a question, but also maybe when I say to be able to see, because sometimes, for those of us in the audience, one thing I keep saying, listen to the presentation, that we should stop thinking only as journalists. So someone says, think about media person. So looking through what you are talking about, digital transformation, I think part of the problem which we need to begin to solve in the media is how do we become really digital? When we talk about digital in the media, it's like creating an online department. Then you don't have that 360 understanding within a system. So some people are somewhere running the online department, some people are still doing their traditional ways of things. And you also mentioned things about telling your history. So maybe a few more explanation about telling your history is very important so that people know. We used to have daily times. You say you have all the biggest things. Now they are nowhere. The best of pictures taken in the past, best of content, they are nowhere. So what is the thing about telling your history that you think it can also be helpful beyond just saying it? What can we use? And how accessible are some of these Microsoft tools that you mentioned?
Wow. 30 times of Nigeria. Chief Sheikh Moshoba. You won't tell of just before guys. All right, back to you, ma'am.
Okay. Maybe I should start with the one of digitizing content, right? So for that one, I think what is really key is when we talk about digitizing content, that's making a digital version of things that you have physical copies of. And the physical copies could either be, for example, you were given a newspaper company as an example, right? So they have like the old newspapers, having all those old newspapers available in digital form. So you could have PDF versions of old newspapers, maybe newspapers that were, I would say, produced in the 80s, 90s, and all of that, having that. And I can assure you that that alone is a very big treasure. If we have any media house, that is that old, is that age, that is able to get all their content available online, for people to make reference to. So it could be things like scanning it and, moving it from the physical storage to something that is available online in the cloud. What that does is it makes it accessible at any point in time. So when I talked about the blueprints, the first thing was make that thing even, digital, make it digital. Then when you have it digital, you can now start trying to monetize it. So with that historical content, you can put a premium to say, hey, if you want to access news that was created in the 90s, this is the premium you pay for it. You're now monetizing the content that is digital, as opposed to having people come, physically to your office to ask you to, find a way to print out that thing of that year. And because it is online, you would no longer be limiting your customer base to the people that are within you in your locality. It becomes global. It becomes something that can be accessible globally. So that's like widening the pool of potential customers that you can get for that service. So that's it for digitizing. Then talking about digital transformation, I think you had a question around there, around digital, maybe more of a comment where you were saying, there's like an IT department where they're focused on online, and then there's the physical, the other people that are doing, business as usual or business as you've always known it. If you continue in that line, I'm sorry to say, but before you know it, the only department that becomes relevant is the online department. So it's important that those who have that knowledge, know-how, experience, begin to upgrade their skills, because there's this subject matter expertise that comes, that they know that they have, that can actually bring in, some kind of unique flavor to what those people that are doing the online, technology parts are doing, to make what you're doing more richer, make it better. At this point, we're no longer, having establishments. Let me just put it that way. We no longer have establishments leading the media narrative anymore. It's now more of the individuals. Like we talked about, social media coming into the whole space as a disruptor. Everybody now has a platform, to perform, and show themselves as content creators and all of that. So having everyone come together, the individuals that have that experience, running the physical things, should find ways to digitize their experience, learn how to use these platforms and bring that expertise that you have gotten over the years. It would show immediately. And, you would have your own, audience of people who recognize that, oh, this thing is coming from a seasoned person. This is the kind of digital content I can rely on, because this person is not just someone that is just creating this content. This person knows the rules, that, or whatever it is that we need to engage with to be able to, provide content in a digital world. And I think there was a third thing you asked.
Access to some of the tools.
Okay, access to the tools. Oh yes, these tools are all available. We always have the free version. We always have the free version that is available to everyone. So I'm sure we could probably share links, to the tools. So what I would do is I'll try and add some links on the deck, so you can go and at least access the free versions. And then if it's something that you want to maybe extend or something, I think a lot of times where we go into licensing is when it's more of an enterprise that is looking to use it. But for individuals, we do have free versions that you can use free of charge. So I would add links to my presentation so you can access it. All right, thank you. Yes, please, go on.
Thank you very much for this section.
All right.
So, I want to be like Olivia Twist. Is there a way you can, Olivia is not now. You can have a forum that you give us a practical guideline of how to go about using these tools. Thank you very much.
I'm looking at my manager. That's my manager. They want a hands-on session on how to use these tools. I'm sure it's something that he can work on. He would work on, setting up maybe some other workshop where it's more practical. We would have our team on ground, You come with your laptops. We do it a lot, but we haven't done it for media. Apologies for that. We do it a lot for people in the tech industry. But we can probably have something like that in the media to, do like a training on how to use some of these tools as it relates to your industry. So that's an action point for
me. So it's very possible.
Thank you, sir.
It's very possible. And I think what she had said, I think by the time you get to the garage, just like you said, it's all about using your hands to do things. And from that session, it's just exposing, it blows up your mind around what is possible. I'll literally give, by the time we get there, hopefully, I will do an illustration and you would see the power of providing solutions to problems. But this is very possible. And it's all about getting the how, the when to make it happen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Emin.
So are we done?
Mr. Emin, the soft line. So everything is soft with Mr. Emin.
Okay, we have one question over here.
All right. I think that should be the last. Though we still have 8 minutes.
Thank you. My question borders on the explanation you gave on the generating revenue from your digital contents. You made mention of putting a premium on it so that whoever wants to access maybe your digitalized old news can pay a premium. But then I want to say that's limited in a way. Except I want to ask, is there any technology that will put a check on what I have accessed, so I don't just spread it all over the social media? By the time you do that, you have bastardized it, and people, by the time you make money from 1, 2, 3 clients, you won't be able to make further money. And then, is there any form of technology that if I have this, I won't be able to spread it out? Thank you.
Thank you for that question. And yes, there are lots of technologies out there that control the level of access that you have on content online. It's not depending on the content strategy you have, let me just frame it down. Depending on the content strategy you have, that will determine how you want people to access what you have. So for some organizations, they've chosen the path of the access we're giving you is a read-only access. You can only read it. Some of them even go as far as preventing you from copying it. I don't know if you've ever experienced that. You go online, you read something, and you cannot even copy it. Yeah, so that's the technology that has been put there. So that way, it's only one user or one viewer on that content, and that way, they don't download it and start doing unauthorized sharing. Exactly. So that's possible. And then even beyond the end users, now I talked about a new disruption, which is artificial intelligence, right? So there we have the large language models that look for historical data to help them, build the intelligence that they have. If anyone, I would say, is abreast with going-ons on social media, right? I know at some point I was seeing news on how someone was saying that's Elon Musk, right? The current CEO of Twitter was saying that, this ChatGPT is using Twitter data without his permission, and all of that. And I'm sure at some point they'll have to come together and have an agreement, meaning that, okay, you want to access Twitter data, you pay this amount of money and your LLM would access it for this period of time. That is something that, digital content, particularly from our region, because Africa, unfortunately, we're still behind. We're still trying to play catch up on content being available online. It will be difficult for these large language models to have all the history of information that we've had in the media over the years, because that information is not even available online. So that's right, there's an opportunity to make that information available online and then license it to the companies that have these large language models so that they are able to build, their different generative AIs to provide information, that can give, oh, this is the African context, this is what happened in Africa on this date, and all of that. That's also an opportunity that can be explored. So you have the bigger companies, licensing or rather paying to use the data from other companies that have it available out there. Thank you.
Please thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Jacquelyn Ekwueme, she leads a team of program managers in Microsoft at the African Development Center, West Africa. She drives those teams on the compliance on the charter, compliance tooling operations for the Windows Plus devices, infrastructure for privacy, compliance and trust organization. She has a degree in computer science, she has an MBA, she has 18 plus years of experience in the technology industry, working in various positions on the product development lifecycle.
Thank you.
Please allow me to once again.
Thank you.
I'll have a presentation for you before you leave, man.
Oh,
We'll have a presentation. Thank you so much for sharing
Thank
with us and
you.
opening our eyes to the margin trends that we need to catch up on and really monetize. See you, EnterpriseCEO.
thank you, Enterprise CEO.
So glad to see you.
There's a picture.
Yeah, it's a picture.
Probably have myself.
Thank you very much, Jacqueline. This again, I won't present it. I'm going
This is so
to
cool.
invite one of my topmost Oga, Auntie Funke, to help present this. And we appreciate your time for doing justice to the topic. We know that it's something that our people in the media will benefit from. And the way they've requested, we'll be glad that we get answers to those things. Thank you very much. Auntie Funke?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Please come make this presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, Auntie Funke. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, man.
Sorry,
Okay.
before you go, for me, the hero of this masterclass, it's someone that works with Jacquelyn here at Microsoft. Because if you were here very early, there's someone who was helping us to ensure that everything was in place. I'm going to invite Yemi to at least take this picture with us, so that it's been so fantastic. There are times that he called me and said, this is what we need to do. This is how to place it. A few days ago, I was to send the
This is so
list of those that
nice.
were here to him this day. And I made a mistake, so that
I have my own picture now.
and I have to do it again. Thank you for those times. We do appreciate your time. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Mr. Shea. I appreciate it.